What if one of the most hyped rivalries in women's hoops, a duel 5 years in the making, erupted into a record-shredding masterclass before anyone could even blink? On July 13th, 2025, the Indiana Fever didn't just beat the Dallas Wings 102-83, they detonated every lingering doubt about Caitlin Clark's pro ceiling, left Paige Bueckers searching for answers, and carved a stat line only Clark herself had ever produced before. Buckle up, because by the time we're done, you'll see why the league may have to change its speed limit signs. They were just teenagers the first time their names trended in the same sentence. Clark bombing 30-footers with playground swagger, Bueckers gliding like an old soul point guard who knew tomorrow's playbook yesterday. Scouts whispered next bird Tarasi, while viral clips racked up millions of views. What made the rivalry instantly magnetic was contrast. Clark thrived on chaos, deep pull-ups, no-look lasers, while Bueckers ruled the mid-range with zen calm and surgical efficiency. Their AAU battles felt less like youth ball and more like pay-per-view prize fights. And yet, for all the early noise, neither player changed who she was to ape the other. They doubled down on their differences, forging identities that would collide on ever larger stages. The air between them crackled with the promise of something era-defining, and everyone watching sensed it. College turned the rivalry into allegory. Bueckers chose Gino Auriemma's storied UConn machine, betting on legacy and banners. Clark zagged to Iowa, a program starving for primetime respect. 3 March Madness collisions followed, each ratcheting up intensity, none more searing than the 2024 Elite Eight. Clark detonated for 41 points to send the Huskies packing and seized a 2-1 edge in their collegiate ledger. If fans split into 2 camps, the coaches fanned the flames. Auriemma nitpicked Clark's shot selection on national TV. Pundits echoed him, arguing her fireworks would fizzle in the physical W. Meanwhile, Bueckers was hailed as plug-and-play perfection. Diana Taurasi even warned Clark of a rude awakening awaiting rookies who float too many rainbows over 6-foot defenders. Doubt became Clark's unwanted backpack, the kind you carry into every gym until you prove you can drop it. April 2024. Clark goes number 1 to Indiana, instantly transforming the Fever from a league afterthought to a must-see tour. 1 year later, Bueckers lands number 1 with Dallas, giving the Wings a poised floor general to match Clark's fire. The marketing practically wrote itself. Past 2 number 1 picks, first pro showdown. ABC locked in the broadcast months ahead, expecting ratings gold. But real life clouded the storyline. Clark opened her rookie summer scorching, then hit a shooting skid and tweaked her groin. The Fever yo-yoed between jaw-dropping bursts and puzzling meltdowns. Rumors leaked of a sideline shouting match with Coach Stephanie White over tempo. Clark wanted warp speed. White preferred half-court control. Social clips of their heated halftime exchange versus Atlanta racked up millions, birthing hashtags like Free the Fever. Bueckers, meanwhile, padded quietly efficient numbers on a Wings squad that couldn't defend a picket fence. National debate swirled. Was Clark flaming out while Bueckers acclimated, or was Indiana's system muzzling a missile?
Game day arrived with both teams at a crossroads. Indiana sat 10-10, having just stumbled versus the Sparks and an expansion Valkyries club. Dallas, 8-11, leaned on Bueckers' 18 points per game, but leaked points like a faucet. White, sensing a locker room fracture, held a late-night film session and, history will note, handed Clark the keys. "Push whenever you see daylight," she told her star. Anyone in the building who blinked after that never caught up. The first quarter sizzled, but stayed close, both sides probing. Then Clark shifted gears. A cross-court laser to Kelsey Mitchell here, a 32-footer there. You could almost hear the Fever collectively exhale. Finally, we're running. Second quarter, Indiana explodes for 36 points on 76% shooting, ripping a 33-9 run that felt like a tornado made of layups and long bombs. By halftime, the Fever had 64 points, new franchise record and the WNBA's first 60-plus half of 2025. Opponents sometimes say Clark's passes arrive before the thought forms. On this night, they arrived like thunderbolts. Mitchell fed off the frenzy, shredding nets for 20 on 8 for 12 and stretching her double-digit streak to 21 games. Natasha Howard sprinted rim to rim for 18 on 8 of 9. Aaliyah Boston devoured space inside, while Sophie Cunningham zoomed in from the bench to notch her 1,500th career point. All of it orchestrated by Clark's unique gift for turning rebounds into 3-second fast breaks. Dallas tried to get physical, grabs off the ball, no switches on screens, but every hack left someone else wide open. Viewers at home saw the scoreboard balloon. Players on the court felt the floor tilt under their shoes.
Clark's scoring stayed efficient, 14 points on 9 shots, but the artistry was everywhere else. Assist after assist stacked up until she reached 13, tying a season high and turning every teammate into a highlight reel co-star. On defense, she prowled passing lanes like a chess player 3 moves ahead, swiping 5 steals and pinning a layup to the glass before rifling a full-court touchdown to Cunningham. That line, 14-13-5, had appeared only once in WNBA history, courtesy of Clark herself. Now she owns the feat twice, an exclusive club of 1. Hidden in those numbers sat another landmark. She became the fastest player ever to 200 points and 100 assists, needing just 12 professional games to get there. For context, the previous quickest mark belonged to Sue Bird, and she needed 18. That acceleration matters because it reframes Clark not as a volume shooter who might adapt, but as an instant engine who already bends pro defenses to her speed. Meanwhile, Dallas's top scorer, Arike Ogunbowale, was frozen out, finishing 0 for 10 as help defenders peeled off whenever Clark barked a switch. Paige Bueckers still found 21 points, but most came in solo bursts while the game slipped away, like a violin solo against an orchestra that had already hit the crescendo. Records fell, but reputations shook harder. Overnight, the criticism morphed from "Can Clark handle the W?" to "How fast can everyone else catch up?" National radio shows replayed her full-court dime on loop, calling it the WNBA's first true poster pass. ESPN's push alert used the word historic twice. Coach Stephanie White's postgame quote sealed the culture shift. "I finally stopped dialing her back, and the team took off like it had been waiting on the runway." The front office echoed that sentiment the next morning by teasing full-speed practice blocks in a behind-the-scenes vlog, proof that Clark's tempo had moved from experiment to blueprint. Within 24 hours, ticket prices for the Fever's next home game jumped 35% on resale sites. Indiana's online shop sold out of Clark jerseys in every adult size. Even Cheryl Reeve, who once urged Clark to tone down the hero ball, tweeted that she'd love to coach that pace for one night, a nod to the fast-approaching All-Star game. Post-game, Bueckers fielded a pointed question about turnovers Clark sniffed out. Her clipped response, "Next question, please," ricocheted across social feeds and lit sports talk panels on fire. Clark, conversely, praised teammates first, quipping that her own shooting slump felt a heck of a lot lighter at 102-83. Coach White admitted, "Her basketball IQ runs at ludicrous speed. My job was to stop putting speed bumps in front of it." And amid the noise, a new baseline standard: no rivalry ends in one night. The Fever boarded a plane for Connecticut with a chance to stack wins, then head to New York 2 days later. Arenas where half-court traps loom. Will White keep the tempo pedal floored? If so, league defenses may start warming ice baths now. All-Star Weekend adds extra spice. Team Clark will be coached by Cheryl Reeve, who'd earlier questioned whether the rookie needed to dial back the hero ball. Reeve now inherits the league's most-watched engine on the sport's brightest summer stage. Round 2 of Clark Bueckers waits in Dallas on August 23rd, and ticket prices have already spiked on resale sites. Expect the Wings to plot new schemes, maybe blitzing traps, maybe off-ball denials, but history says every chess move just opens another passing lane. On July 13th, the scoreboard read 102-83, but the real number was possibility multiplied by proof. Clark's critics said the W was too rugged, her range too reckless, her flash too flimsy. She answered with control, vision, defense, and a stat line so rare only her own shadow had ever matched it. Bueckers remains brilliant, the rivalry still balanced by contrast. Yet the chapter written in Indianapolis tilts the narrative towards speed, space, and daring. So here's the lingering question. Now that Clark's throttle is officially unstuck, who in the WNBA can keep up once she hits cruise? Drop your take below, smash that subscribe, and set notifications so you're first to see whether the Wings counterpunch lands, or whether the record books need even more blank pages. Think Dallas can solve the puzzle by August 23rd? Comment CC to lock in your prediction.